It's now 11:20. We stayed off duty. They didn't give me a pre-trip right at my 10, so we waited a little bit. 7:30 we did our pre-trip, and we're going to be ready to drive here right at 8 o'clock. Rancho Cucamonga hook and pre-trip. And then as our hours are, we got our 12 hours from yesterday plus the 12.75 zeros for the rest of the day, so we have worked a total of 24.75. So we have a total of 47.25 hours left to last 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 more days. Okay, finishing this week for 11:20, we had 2 trailers on. Had to notice both of those. We were off duty all the way till 7:30, where we did our pre-trip in Rancho Cucamonga. We also hooked to a new trailer there. Then we went driving up to Rialto, CA, where we dropped that trailer and hooked to another one. Show 15 minutes off duty. It took 15 minutes to plan my trip. I'm not paid for that, so that's off duty. And then we drove up to Frazier Park, California, where I went to the bathroom and did a safety inspection. Don't get paid to go to the bathroom, so we're back off duty there. And driving again all the way up to Modesto, CA, where we did our post-trip. Then we were off for the rest of the night. So we have a total of 15.75 off-duty, 0 in the sleeper, 7.5 driving hours, 0.75 on-duty not driving, total of 24 hours. I drove 365 miles yesterday, so we have a total of 8.25 hours driving yesterday. We had 45.25 hours that we could have driven. So that 8.25 will go up and take the place of the 12. The 12 will take the place of the 12.75. 12.75 will knock off one of the zeros. And then for today, the 8.25, 12, 12 and 3/4, and 4 zeros. Continuing week in the life of my logs, we're on 11:21. I did 439 miles. I had 3 trailers on me. We were off, well, we went off duty the night before at about 4:15 in Modesto. The next morning I got up. I intended to get going around 2:15 or so, but it turned out I had a dead battery in the truck. Awesome! It got real cold and the batteries just don't crank as well, and I've been having charging problems with the truck anyway. So it took them a while to get me jump started, so I started going at 11:15. Did a pre-trip for half an hour, Modesto, CA pre-trip, drop and hooked. I dropped the trailer I had. I hooked up to another one because I had to change my loads a little bit. So instead of heading up to Woodland, I got on the freeway and headed back down south to Tulare, where I fueled up, scaled the load, did a safety inspection, and apparently I did some crack. No, I had lunch. So 15 minutes to fuel and scale, 15 minutes for lunch. Then I went back onto driving, made it down to Paramount, where I was unloaded. It was a live load. Took them not very long, actually. It was nice. And then I went back up to driving, where we went up to South El Monte, where we did a drop and hook. Took me 15 minutes to do the drop and hook, 15 minutes to plan where I was going next. Then I went back on duty and came up here to Arvin, California, where I did my post-trip at midnight. So 13.5 hours off duty, 0 hours just sleeper, 9.5 hours of driving, 1 hour on duty not driving, for a total of 24 hours. So we had 10.5 hours on duty or on duty driving. We had 37 that we could work today. So of course the 10.5 will take the place of the 8.25. 8.25 will take the place of the 12. 12 and 3/4 will take the place of the 0, and then the 0 at the very top will get knocked off. See you guys tomorrow. One thing while we're still on the 21st here, I want you guys to note that that at midnight here we did draw the line down to off duty, and we did flag it here. Even though midnight is shared between the 2 days, you do it on the current day you're on. You don't do it for the next day. So tomorrow the day will start out just as off duty. Also, you remember we started this week, the first day was about 2:15 a.m. So if y'all like the 8 to 5 stuff, don't get it in trucking because the way the days have rotated, we're now finishing the day when we were starting the day. So you got to get used to having rotating hours like that. You know, it's not a job where you get Friday and Saturday and Sunday off, and you go home every night. I've driven every hour of every day in almost every state. So you guys really got to think about that when you make the decision to go. Alright, for the 22nd, we only did 226 miles. Of course, our tractor number, driver number, we signed it the other day, but we were off duty all the way up. I said duty. All the way up till 10:15, where we did our pre-trip in Arvin, CA. The location of your post-trip for the previous day and your pre-trip for today should always match, unless you've had time off or your team. And then your pre-trip location should match your teammate's post-trip location, because the truck shouldn't move. And then pre-trip for half an hour. Driving at 10:45, drove all the way up to Modesto, did my post-trip at 3 o'clock, and then I was off duty. Nice short day yesterday. Trying to conserve hours a little bit. So I had 19 and a quarter hours off duty, 0 hours in the sleeper, 4 and a quarter driving, half an hour to do my pre-trip, 24 hours. So I had a total on duty of 4.75. I had 26.5 hours I could have driven. So just to show you the progression of things here, 4.75 hours from yesterday goes on to up here for yesterday, 4.75, then 10, 8 and a quarter, 12 and a quarter, for a total of 48.25 hours. So now today I have 21.75 hours I can drive. I put in my home time request for the 24th at 2200, so I've got 21 hours that I can use between today and tomorrow, which should work, because remember, the first 2 days of this week I used up a total of about 24 hours. So I've got enough time to make another trip to SoCal and back, and then on to things. Okay, on to 11:23. We had a horrible day yesterday. We only did 82 miles. If you notice, the truck numbers changed because our truck wouldn't start. Awesome! We had 3 trailers, the one we started out with, that we dropped in the yard. We picked up an empty, and then we dropped it and picked up another loaded. So we were essentially off duty, even though we were around the yard trying to get them to fix my truck, all the way up until 1:30 Modesto, where we finally did our pre-trip with a new truck. And we drove to Tracy, where we did a drop and hook, and we waited for a pre-plan for a little over an hour, where they sent us to Lodi, where we did a drop and hook, and they did not have my new load ready. And the problem with that is that the load delivered down here in Commerce, CA, California, at 0800. So it was time to do some split logging, but I'll cover that more when I do tomorrow's trip. But important for today, 14 3/4 hours off duty, 6.75 hours in the sleeper, and that'll come into play tomorrow. Hour and a half driving, hour on duty not driving, total of 24. So we had 2.5 hours that went against our 70 today. We had a total of 21.75 hours that we could have worked. And then, of course, the 4 3/4 hours that we worked yesterday went up into the column, and now we've only got 2 zeros left. We're not going to make it to the point this week where we get 1 0. And I don't know. Tomorrow's going to be quite the logbook day for you guys.